Alright, welcome to the third video. Now, we ended with the KT extinction, so we're going to start up right there. With the dying of all of these gigantic reptiles, birds, and insects, the oxygen levels and the climate are fluctuating. Animal sizes begin shrinking to a more sustainable size, unlike the ever-growing dinosaurs before them. And now mammals are dominating the land, even with their small populations. Canids have evolved into a new species, the maiacids. These creatures are more cat-like than dog-like. They last for nearly 30 million years, and they give way to the first dog-like species, the Hesperocyon, whose name is Greek for western dog. Now these guys die off a little after the maiacids die off, but they paved way for the Cynodictes, an even more wolf-like animal. Now, Archonta survives the extinction event as well and evolve into the first primate hominoid. More mountain ranges are forming at this time, slowly changing the land with new waterways from changing rainfall patterns, and rivers develop, and wetlands, and even deserts are beginning to expand. The volatile atmosphere, the tidal waves, tectonic plates, and the weathering creates a global formation of mountain ranges as land collides with other land masses. The Himalayan mountains begin growing upward as India pushes further into Asia. This in effect creates a change in wind movement as a wall is basically erecting itself out of land into the air. With these changes on land, an extinction occurs as many habitats are altered by weather and global climate, called the Paleocene extinction. This killed off 75% of those living on Earth, including many shark species, aquatic lizards, fish, and completely ending ammonites entirely, and almost killing off a crucial piece of marine ecosystem, the plankton. But thankfully, the plankton do survive. This marine die-off makes room for large mammalian fish like the whales to really emerge successfully. This takes us into the Eocene Epoch, and as the plankton numbers rebound, the krill population rebounded as well, as krill feed off plankton. Without large marine reptiles and fish to eat them, these primitive whales emerged in the ocean to eat their growing abundance. Now, the monotremes, like the platypus and the echidnas, like anteaters, appear at this time, who are the only living monotremes left today. On land, some mammals have grown larger and larger, like the paleomastodon, the ancestor to all mammoths and elephants. These are large grass grazers, who can grow to large sizes due to a large range of grasses to eat. Mammals start to emerge as the dominant land animals now. In North America, we have the now extinct giant beavers cruising the waterways, filling a gap by damming up a lot of waterways, creating isolated pouches of habitat that house specialized freshwater animals. Now, as these new mountain ranges grow around the world, they disrupt more and more air from traveling across the land, locking in moisture on one side of the mountains, as the clouds cannot pass over these mountain ranges anymore. This new airflow problem creates a new habitat called rainforests. These forests start appearing as the water falls continuously onto the land below the mountain. Now we start finding ape fossils at this time, as the hominoids evolve into specialized tree dwellers and foragers. The earliest fossil we've found of these ape-like mammals is lovingly named Ida, a female found showing the transitional stage between hominoid and lemurs. The first Proalurus species, a cat-like mammal, emerges at this time as well. Now, around 40 million years ago, the broken pieces of the landmass that trailed from the separation of Antarctica as it moves south of Africa opens a waterway between the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. This is called the Drake Passage. This changes the ocean currents on a massive scale, as the land is not there to block it anymore. The temperatures of both oceans can now intermix, which creates new weather patterns and new species diversification, as these animals can now swim to a new ocean in much more temperate waters. On the other side of the globe, Australia's new mountain ranges help build those rainforests as well, which in turn filters its nutrient-rich waters into the shore, inviting many species to stay near this shore, as an abundant array of food supply filters into the water steadily. Now, hominoids break off again as intelligence is growing, and these new apes first emerge in South America, then followed in Africa and Asia soon after. And now we're hitting a new epoch, and around this time we have very high volcanic activity around the globe, including Africa, Arabia, India, and North America. This disrupts the climate again, And along with the new ocean passage dispersing cooling waters, this causes temperatures to drop until an ice age occurs, which lasts for about 10 to 15 million years. Now, toward the end of this minor ice age, around 18 million years ago, we move into a new period, the Neogene Period, and a new epoch called the Pliocene. Now, gibbons split from these apes as a new type of primate, and around 14 million years ago, orangutans emerge in Asia as their cousins remain in Africa. These chimps have superior skills with their fingers and thumbs and can forage better and protect themselves better and learn new skills. And by 7 million years ago, gorillas start branching off from the apes. Now, the Columbia River volcanic eruption occurs in Washington state, covering the entire state and most of the surrounding states in lava as well. Now, around this time, the Great Barrier Reef is growing into its own community near the Australian rainforest. Between North and South America, a series of volcanic eruptions create the landmass connecting the two continents, called the Isthmus of Panama. This new strip of land blocks the ocean currents now, creating changes in the pattern of wind currents and rainfall and other effects. With this change in currents and air again, combined with the Himalayan mountain ranges growing even taller, this shift creates a barren patch of land that expands with time, and this is now known as a Saharan Desert. This desert receives wind all the same, but lacks the moisture that gets trapped behind the mountains. This wind picks up the sand from the desert, eroding the land, and deposits it on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, landing in the new Amazonian rainforest, depositing nutrients every year. This allows for some specialized species to thrive directly from the forest for all of their needs. This also allows these animals to adapt in new ways to fend off water, to hide with camouflage, as well as specialized diets. This very specific dynamic between land and air creates new plants that can never be found anywhere else on the planet but in this rainforest, including most medicinal plants that we use today and cannot be replicated anywhere else on Earth. Now, near the end of the Miocene period, the Eocene emerge, which is the real first true ancestor of the wolf. And the name is Greek, with Eu meaning true and Sion meaning dog, so it's true dog. And shortly following them comes the branch Canis, which is the nearest ancestor to all dogs. Now, these new deserts and rainforests and wind patterns cause a change in climate, and it begins to cool down yet again. The glaciers begin to pile up again. This is when North America gets covered in a giant ice sheet called the Laurentide Sheet, which spreads to Greenland as well. Now, Yellowstone erupts in North America in the middle of this partial ice age, fueling the cool down even more. Now, this is exciting because we get to move into the human section at this point. Now, I know that this isn't one of the longer videos, but I'm just going to stop the third video here because we're going to move into the human section at this point, and I just want to start fresh with a new video there. Okay, so click on the next video if you want to stay tuned and find out what happens on Earth, and thanks for watching!